All right, stop, collaborate, and listen. Talking about icy conditions out there. Look at the numbers and how low they're going to be coming up.
Watch out for those icy spots on the roads and sidewalks. Brooke Griffin is standing by for a live report.
Also, school leaders in Hartford have some tough financial decisions ahead of them as the district is predicting a shortfall of tens of millions of dollars.
Fox 61, Connecticut's news station, begins with a Weather Watch alert.
Good morning. Watch for those icy spots out there on the roads and the sidewalks as you head out the door. Good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm Erica Arias.
And I'm Tim Lammers. But because of that ice, dozens of school districts have already decided to delay the start of school after a lot of them closed yesterday. You can see those delays running at the bottom of your screen. Let's get over to meteorologist Matt Scott. We were just sort of, taking our straw polls. I did not seem to have any slippery ride coming in down I-91. Yeah. I think you said you were all right coming up from the shore.
Listen, watch the side roads.
Yep.
91 was in good shape. So, I mean, not to be unexpected. There wasn't a lot, but there's, ice is one of those equal opportunity offenders. It doesn't take a lot, it doesn't take a little to cause some trouble. And there is plenty of it out there. So it's an icy, cold Tuesday. The sun will be up, the temperatures will not be. And in the 7-day, speaking of the cold, a prolonged cold snap. The numbers staying down for the count for a while. Cloud and radar picture is just about quiet. You can see a wind out of the north and west, and that's taking temperatures in the mid to upper teens generally across the state, with the wind out of the west-northwest 5 to 10. Takes it down to a deuce in Torrington right now. Look at Waterbury with half of that. You've got a real feel of 1. It's balmy by comparison, Hartford and New Haven with 13. But as we expected, single-digit wind chills for the next few hours. So if your students are getting to the bus this hour, stand by. It's cold out there. I've adjusted the timing to show you what the real feel will look, or what the temperatures rather will look like in 2 hours as the sun comes up, because many of you are on a delay. 16 now, 27 later on this afternoon. It's a cold one. We'll talk about the rest of the week and maybe a little more snow too coming up. All right, let's see what the ice is doing to the roads. Hopefully not a lot of problems from Rachel Piscatelli.
We've remained relatively quiet for your morning commute for the most part through about 5-6 o'clock this morning. So we'll keep a close eye on the roadways. However, no incidents to report at this hour. But again, just be mindful of those icy conditions. The primary roads are okay. It's the on, the off ramps, as well as bridges, overpasses and underpasses that typically tend to freeze up and cause a little bit more problems, especially for our primary roadways. Over in New Haven, both directions look okay. It's out by Long Wharf. Wanted to show you 84 east and westbound over in Hartford, where we have that volume starting to pick up on that eastbound side of 84. Over in Meriden, 691. Both directions look okay at this point. But again, it's those secondary roads too and those untreated surfaces that we're most concerned about. Your rail services are on time this morning, and at Bradley, we are reporting a few canceled and delayed this morning. So, of course, check with your airlines prior to heading to the airport. Back to you.
Well, our team coverage continues into the slick conditions out there on the roads.
Yeah, Fox 61's Brooke Griffin is live in the storm tracker. She's in Hartford, just checking to see if the roads are slippery or drivable. How does it look out there right now, Brooke?
Yeah, so we actually just crossed over on that line from Hartford into the Newington area. Wanted to kind of give you a new look at some other places. This is kind of in the Route 5 area. Looking good. That's been the case this morning on these main roads. Now, on the ones that have been plowed, the ones that have been treated, so that's 84, 91, all the way up to Infield, now down to Newington. Things are looking good. It's the side roads that you have to worry about. That's what we've been saying for really about 2 days now, I believe. These, on the other hand, look okay. We are seeing a couple of maybe like wet or even potentially slick spots off to the side, maybe on the ramps in some areas, definitely on the city and town streets. But otherwise, all in all, pretty good shape, especially compared to last night's commute. That one was a lot rougher. We were seeing a lot of ice, a lot of maybe even snow in some places. Now, it's hard to tell between the snow and the brine salt mixture, whatever they're putting on the ground at this point. Hard to tell between the two. So if you're in doubt, go ahead and assume that maybe it is a little bit slick. Give yourself some room. Don't follow anybody too closely. Make sure you have everything defrosted in your car. That way there's no dangers in addition to the fact that you could end up hitting a slick spot. So that's really the main thing that we're seeing today. If you're in a neighborhood, maybe that hasn't been treated as well, that could be a little tricky getting out of. If you have a little bit of a hill, definitely take care of that. Otherwise, once you get out onto these main roads, it's looking good. The traffic's not too heavy. A lot of people may be staying inside, working from home today. Those 2-hour delays for the schools are definitely helping as well. So just give yourself some time, give yourself some room. That's going to be your best bet. Otherwise, in general, things really are looking good. We're going to head south, see what we can find, go all the way to New Haven, check it out for you guys there. We'll get back to you then. In Newington, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
The Fox 61 Storm Tracker is sponsored by Nero Facilities Management.
Leaders with Hartford Public Schools say they could have some tough decisions to make as the district is facing a nearly $78 million deficit for the next school year.
All those tough decisions may mean cuts to programs and services. Fox 61's Angela Bavaro is joining us live at Hartford High School with more.
Erica, Tim, good morning. And the simple reason for this projected shortfall, district leaders say costs are up, but revenue is not. So now it's a matter of figuring out what to prioritize in that budget for the next school year. All of this was talked about at a budget forum last week. That was with parents, neighbors, stakeholders in this process. To break down these numbers a bit more, the district is currently projecting it will have about $426 million to spend next school year. Comparing that, the district says keeping services at a similar level as this current school year, that would cost about $504 million. That difference is $77.7 million. And take a look at this graph. Leaders point out that the district's budget has essentially remained flat over the past few years. However, it has been boosted recently by federal COVID relief money, which is represented by the top royal blue bars on this graph. Well, that funding is expiring, so the district will not have it next year. To that, another big contributing factor to the projected deficit, inflation. And leaders call it an especially difficult year.
And so that includes for us the salaries of our staff. It includes the price of benefits, whether that be health insurance or other benefits, the price of buses. And so those prices go up. But if our revenue doesn't go up, right, that means we have to solve for it. And so you can see here, we're expecting as much as $25 million in rising costs. What you also see in there is something the superintendent talked about. We're expecting as much as $10 million more in tuition from this year to next year.
Now, something to note, the budget projection does not include mitigation measures like assuming a certain percentage of positions will stay vacant. No decisions about what to possibly cut have been made at the end of that forum. Parents and neighbors, they broke out into groups to talk about what programs and services are most important and should be prioritized in this process. We are live in the capital city this morning. I'm Angelo Bavaro, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Angelo, thank you for that report and the breakdown of the numbers. We appreciate it.
6:08 right now, and today we're expected to learn more about how many families are benefiting from the state's baby bonds program. That's happening this morning at the Bridge Family Resource Center at Charter Oak International Academy. The state now gives $3,200 to every child who is born into poverty, and that money is invested and managed by the Office of the Treasurer and is available to the child when that child turns 18. The state says any child whose birth is covered by the state's Medicaid program is automatically enrolled.
A Mansfield Middle School music teacher accused of threatening a student on a bus is expected in court today. An arrest warrant claimed that Kenneth Johnson told that student that he would, quote, rip his face off if he talked back again. State police said that happened in November. The student told police it started after he brought a stick onto the bus and refused to get rid of it. Johnson is currently on administrative leave. All right, here we are now 3 days into the Michelle Troconis trial, heading into day 4 today, and we are slowly getting a clearer picture of what happened the day Jennifer Dulos disappeared and what the days before that were like.
Yesterday, jurors heard from several people, including a Connecticut State Police detective. He spoke about the evidence that he says he found at Jennifer Dulos' New Canaan home after she was reported missing. Now, we also heard from the Dulos' family's longtime nanny. Lauren Almeida says that she started working for the family in September of 2012. At first, it was part-time work, but she quickly became the full-time nanny for the Dulos children. She says things seemed to be fine between Jennifer and her husband Fotis at first, She says she noticed Fotis, a business owner, was not home a lot. She says she tried not to judge and initially saw him as a kind man. At one point, she says she started to notice a different dynamic between Fotis and Jennifer. One where she says Fotis was harsh with Jennifer, who didn't like conflict. Then she saw things take a turn.
The big dynamic change was in March of 2017, which is when Jennifer found out about his affair.
Almeida says that she still works for the Dulos family. In her testimony, she also spoke about a trip to Miami when she met Michelle Trones. It's the first time that we heard the defendant's name come from a witness in this trial. Now, the trial is set to resume at 10 o'clock this morning. You can watch it live on Fox 61 Plus on your phone, computer, or connected TV.